Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home. Mike, we're doing another hybrid live stream, watch along, episode recording. Of course, we just watched Michael Rasmussen put one in the back of the net. Mike, what do they always tell you? You crash the net, good things will happen.
Unless your name's Zadina, then you fly wildly, go flying into the third row, and luckily,
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's I'm saying. Zadina goes crashing into the net, and it leaves open space for Rasmussen.
No, he didn't crash into the net. He just went flying out of the shot.
Crash the net.
No, but he crashed.
Oh my God!
Out of the stadium.
We are not. We are
flying
not
out of the play.
Argument.
Oh, he did. He went flying.
It was a good job. Good job, Mr. Zadina and Rasmussen and everyone involved. Don't listen to Mike. Don't let him put you down.
Don't listen to me. Don't watch the replay. Don't listen to facts. Don't do that. Just drink that sweet Zadina Kool-Aid.
Goes down smooth. Well, Mike, it's probably a good idea to address what for the podcast listeners, of course, what this means for a hybrid episode is that you're listening now. You already know what happened in this game. You know that after Rasmussen scored, the Red Wings gave up 16 more goals the rest of the night to LA, and that was the last moment that we were happy. Of course, Mike, you look at the shot chart right now, it's 13-5. It was what? How bad did it get? 10-1?
Man, let's say
there's the first period, I should say.
There's like probably like 15 cookies in a sleeve of Oreos. So the Kings got, they got like 11 cookies, and we got 4. It was really rough. We didn't get any cookies. So they would eat 2, and then they'd give us 1. And then they'd start working on the next 2 cookies, and we barely were done with the cream in our first cookie. So, but you know what? Let me just say,
I'm good with
it was just the first 13 minutes of that first period, because in the last 7 minutes, which thanks to traffic today, thanks to Snowmageddon 2022, welcome Snowmageddon, friend of the show. All I watched was the last 7 minutes of this first period, Matt, and let me tell you, the Red Wings look competitive. We were aggressive. We got 4 of our 5 shots since I started watching it, and now we're shooting 25% since I tuned in. So 1 out of those 4 shots is a goal. Matt, I must be the lucky one for the win.
I mean, I'm going to say we both are, because I've been so busy. I think I missed the first half of the period there where the shots got out of hand. So I'm pretty happy right now with what I've seen, because haven't necessarily seen amazing defensive play, but at least we saw the catch up here.
But yeah, I know we had some topics today. I know you want to talk to a comment for a friend of the show, Max Boltman. I know you had our buddy Stu Grimson. I know you had some stuff on him. And then a little Red Wing MVP talk. Matt, did you want to start with Stu today?
Well, first I want to start with saying what's up to Chewy. Chewy's aboard. What is going on, my man? Hope you're enjoying the first period. Logan letting us know that he's aboard as well. That was a nice one. Logan, you were ready to go earlier today, about an hour ago. I apologize. We did want to go earlier. Snow got in the way. I also had a sick baby. Mike, you have kids. Scariest thing in the world now. Just for everybody who doesn't have a kid, so you can know. They don't know how to blow their nose. Very underrated, like, horrible thing. So what the child does, I'm guessing this happens for most kids, but she's just been swallowing everything. Because she can't get it out any other way. So this is the second time in 2 nights that she has had to throw up. So it's not fun. And she doesn't really know what's going on because she's like choking and throwing up, and it's awful. And all she needs to do is blow her nose, but she doesn't know how. So she's frustrated, and it's awful. So yeah, that's what I've been dealing with. Not fun.
Is there a fun Mickey Mouse video where he's like, "Hey there, kids, let's blow our noses"?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I try to show it to her, and then when I put the Kleenex up to her nose, she like went like in, and I was like, "No, out, and that doesn't mean anything to her. Like you know what I mean? Like you can't. It's like trying to describe a color to, somebody blind. Like it's so hard to just say, well, when you breathe out, you're breathing out. So you breathe out, but harder. Just and through your nose.
Matt, make yourself breathe.
Are you catching air?
Yeah, I'm catching the good molecules. But yeah, we did have actual hockey topics today, Matt. Sorry.
Chewy liked your Mickey voice.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I do a lot of voices.
Performance art letting us know sneezing is a learned skill later in life. Of course, when I became a dad, I had to scream my sneezes out.
It's the only way to sneeze like a dad. As loud as you can. If it doesn't sound like a prehistoric dinosaur, you're doing it wrong. It's true.
All right. So we got we got to jump into one of these show topics eventually, right?
Let's do it, buddy.
What we wanted to do, there's a fun little video being shared on the Detroit Red Wings Twitter. So we'll pull. I need a minute here, as I always do, to pull this up. What you can see in the background, or I guess, what am I talking about? In the foreground of our video here, this is the celebration after Oesterle puts in the OT winner. Pass coming off the face-off from Larkin goes in. What am I doing? We're going to watch the freaking replay. I don't need to talk about that. All I got to do is focus on sharing this damn screen like an adult. There we go. That's still not up. There it is. All right. God, podcast listeners, you guys are saved from this insanity. All right. So we're talking about Oesterle's goal. So, Mike, I thought we'd get the view of all the Red Wings here in a second. We're going to show the replay. You guys give us what you thought out of 10. Be honest here, because we're going to see a lot of generous scores, I think, from the Detroit Red Wings. Larkin wins the faceoff. Here's Oesterle with the shot. We got to mute it, of course, until we get to the answers. So let's hear what these boys had to say. And Mike, as always, stop me if you can't hear any of this.
Oh,
That was
an amazing Kelly. What do you want to do?
Fabric.
I give him a 10.
10 out
of 10.
Ernie?
Kelly last night. 10.
Smith?
It's a
Kanye?
4. There's just no originality.
Lindstrom?
Top 3 ever.
Top 3 ever. Seider?
10 out of 10.
Wow.
Stetcher? 10.
6. 0.
Oesterle gives it a 0.
Best celly ever.
Roenick?
Honestly?
Here's Nedeljkovic.
It was pretty good, but I'll give it like an 8. I'll give it an 8.
I think officially that has to go down as a 6 from Ned, because he wanted to say 6, and then he remembered that he has Oesterle to deal with.
So to be clear, we're grading whatever that celebratory gesture was after the goal. Is that right?
Yeah, so we'll play it again here for the folks watching on YouTube. Just the down to a knee, skating to center ice, kind of a point. I don't know what it was at. I actually tweeted out boop, boop, boop in regards to him booping the air. I got to go with Gagne on this. I mean, we've seen it before, right? Like, it's fun. Gagne, of course, gave it a 4. I agree with Gagne. Like, no originality. Now, Ned's score, where he was going to say 6, he switched it to 8. I'm going to go with a 6 out of 10. It's a great moment, right? Oesterle redeemed himself after pretty much forcing us to go into overtime. Could have been maybe Ned's angry because that was basically a shutout bid that was ruined by an Oesterle turnover.
I don't mind the cell phone bit, right? We've seen it with Chad Johnson on the Bengals. I think my only beef with Oesterle is he didn't take it quite far enough. He should have had like a smartphone out. He should have skated up to the net and taken a selfie with the puck in there, like, "Hey, game winner, baby!" Threw it up on TikTok, something like that. I don't think he went far enough. He shouldn't have mimed cell phone. I think he should have slid one out of his glove and actually made a video for us.
I would have gone. I mean, this is Oesterle, who grew up in Dearborn Heights, right? And after the game, he kept talking about, like, this has been a dream come true. Just every game I'm actually in the lineup is like
He's
magic.
been saving that dance.
Yeah, that's what he only focused on the dance, or the celly, as the kids like to say.
Who says this?
The kids. The kids say celly. They say chell, as in NHL 22. They say celly.
No, nobody says that. Nobody says
No matter
silly.
the number of gentlemen you're referring to, you always say, boys. Boys, how you doing? What's going on, boys? These are all lessons I've
Is that
learned
a
from
Babcock
Letterkenny.
voice? What is that?
That's my Canadian. So I guess
Okay.
kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was
So,
Babcock, it'd be deeper. Also, it'd be mentally damaging.
All right, this is blowing my mind right now. I thought a celly we meant because he was pulling out his cell phone and doing a celly, like making a call. So you're saying the celebration is what I'm learning?
Yeah. Yeah.
So was it a celly?
All right, so that's what I assumed.
Was
you
it a
thought
silly?
was going on,
Was it a
was
silly
that
celly?
You thought that he was pulling out his phone and dialing with his booping.
Yeah, I thought he was ordering a hot and ready,
Yeah, that's
which doesn't make sense because they're always hot and ready. You don't need a call.
Well, we've got one score. Chewy gives it a 5, a half for creativity and originality. 5 for effort. I'm sorry, 5 for effort and a 0.5 for creativity and originality. Performance art says it's like he got caught between the arrow slinger and the sharpshooter celebration. And then Chris C gives us just an oh my god.
It looked like he was trying to get into the driver's side of a Tesla because he was like kind of.
I can see that. I was gonna say before I got sidetracked, but because he was the Dearborn Heights, he's talking about this is his dream come true to play for this team. I feel like he should, like, if that was me. So that's what I'm asking, right? Like, this would be me. We're from Dearborn. I just scored for the Detroit Red Wings in overtime, and I'm redeeming the fact that I gave up a turnover. I can't recall ever seeing this. But Mike, how about he's sliding into center ice. How about laying down in the middle of the Red Wings logo and just looking up and absorbing the fans? Like, that would have been a 10 out of 10, right? Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, if I am in Oesterle's shoes. Clearly, I didn't spend my whole life trying to learn how to play hockey and all that jazz. But there's some way I can attach my brain.
Were you hoping that I would
really
Martin Short that comment? Did you want me to Martin Short that comment?
How do I do that?
Clearly, I haven't worked my whole life to be an NHL player. Oh yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I would have loved if you threw
Just
that
instantly. Yeah, it's nothing like a little Matt heckle. Yeah,
you never need to ask permission to be Martin Short. Just go for it.
I will
honestly, if you didn't set it up that way and you threw in just no kidding, I'd probably still be laughing right now. I'm almost disappointed in you at this point.
I'm gonna give a higher score to the celly than the made-up word celly. How about that? I'm gonna give Oesterle a.
Does that mean you were getting a number?
I'm gonna give him a 9 for the 9 digits he's booping on the phone, and
I think it was officially 5.
Well, it's like a 9 grid. I guess it's 12.
I'll give you that. I'll let you explain your way through it.
Or an 8, like you got to do like the 1, then the area code, and then you put, you get it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
All right. Well, the other thing we wanted to talk about, actually, let me pull this. I got to keep reminding myself who actually said this. But it's Stu Grimson. Threw out there, Mike. I just have a still because if we share the actual show from NHL Tonight, that will most certainly get pulled. That will get called out. So we're not going to try it. But what Stu said, Mike, he's been watching Mo Seider. By the way, he called out a power play goal that we talked about earlier this year, and we gave the same exact analysis. So I'd just like to say we could take Stu's job, no problem, lickety split. regurgitated our exact analysis. I even went back and found the episode where we did it, and it is exactly the same. So we've got that going for us. But anyway, Stu, talking about Mo Seider, Mike, he said this. It's not even a question to him. This is already a great all-star defenseman in Mo Seider. But Stu also threw out there the Norris Trophy is Moritz Seider's in the future. He knows that there's a political game being played with Norris trophies and all these MVP awards and whatnot. But it is pretty nice from the national perspective, or I guess international perspective, since we toss in Canada. Mike, Mo Seider right now being graded from the national perspective as for sure Norris Trophy in his future. We follow like the likes of Corey Pronman, and we talked about him a couple of times so far this season, and we've been teasing Corey Pronman because he gives us the national perspective. He's still, I think, angry that he ranked Mo Seider to be outside of the top 20, and of course he gets picked number 6, and now he looks like a super duper star. So one of the main guys we keep getting information from or opinions from is Corey Pronman. So it was nice. I have to say, if you guys haven't seen it yet, the Detroit Red Wings shared it. But it's one of those warm and fuzzy feelings, right? Like this is, I think, one of the first major endorsements for Moritz Seider that's like outside of the Detroit area. It's not fans. Stu's got a regular show on NHL Tonight, and he dedicated an entire segment to talking about how Moritz Seider is the future defenseman to carry this league. Mike, happy fuzzy feelings? We like that? And of course, Performance Art has something negative to say. Stu looks like an aging Dracula. All right.
The
Performance Art.
Performance Art, I'm gonna push back on that. Because Dracula was like the head of the vampires. This looks like the first 5 minutes of a Buffy episode, one of the grunt vampires that, Xander kills with a wooden stake. It's not even one that Buffy kills. It looks like one of the ones Xander kills. If that reference is too old, I'm sorry.
Everybody knows what you're talking about.
All right. Hopefully they still know Xander. But, I've never sat around pining for the approval of Stu Grimson, but I get where you're going with this, that, in Michigan, particularly Detroit area Red Wing fans, we all are obviously in love with Mo Seider, pie in the sky dreams for this guy. We're ready to give him the Norris this year, even though he's not quite ready. So it's kind of cool that, it is starting to kind of worm its way into the national perspective. Maybe it's something that, if you're reading like The Athletic, I think they already have kind of a realization about how good he is. But I think the TV broadcast kind of tells a little bit, wider range than a niche, pay to read, more hockey than not hockey newspaper collection. So yeah, I think it is kind of cool that it's starting to make its way nationally. I think there's some fellows in Colorado who would push back on immediately giving away the Norris. But Sam also dropping in looking like a real estate or hedge fund manager. Yeah, I agree. I'm pretty sure I've seen him on a few billboards around the Detroit area.
You know what it is? It's the gray streaks, right, on the side. I've got those coming in. I'm actually kind of thrilled. I think I'm going to be able to pull it off just as well as Stu does here. But I like it. It's adds a lot of character, I think. And Stu already has a bunch of character. So this is just think about how he's just oozing personality at this point. So I'm I'm fine with it. I'm glad he looks like a real estate or a hedge fund manager.
Matt, are you ready to be a real estate manager? I got your billboard ready.
Yeah.
Call 1-800-WELCOME-MATT.
Just let you walk all over me. I'll give you whatever you want.
Oh, I meant because you're going to get a welcome mat for your house. For your new house.
Yeah, but, if you call someone a welcome mat, that's like, that's inferring something.
Well, my mistake.
Anyhoozles.
Sorry, man.
All good feelings, all good vibes. Mike, we do have breaking news. Pierre LeBrun reporting that Pat Verbeek has been named the next GM of the Anaheim Ducks. Announcement possibly as early as Thursday. Of course, Pat Verbeek, our assistant GM right now, working right underneath Steve Yzerman. Mike, is it Quinky Dink?
More breaking news.
Nicholas
I got more
Lidstrom
breaking
was...
news.
Yeah, go for it.
Nedeljkovic just made a miracle save to keep this 1-0.
Oh my God, I didn't even realize. I was reading that tweet and missed that the second period started. Quick,
Verbeek, that's news. You know, another former wing, and okay, good for him.
I mean, it is major news. I mean, that for us, I mean, this is a guy that's been learning under Steve, and clearly they're making waves, and the rest of the NHL is noticing what Steve is building here, and that's got to mean a lot for how Pat gets this job. I think good for Pat. I know it doesn't change a lot for us right now, but that does mean that there's a spot open, and that's where what I was going to ask you. Before Ned made his beautiful save that I still haven't seen. Nemestikov out front, almost put one in. It does mean, or it could mean more to the Lidstrom signing.
Well,
it could mean that his title's already changing.
I don't know if I'm hoping that Verbeek is kind of stingy with his cap space, and maybe he'll let Lindholm walk away from the Ducks. That would be a nice favor.
Performance starts right there. He's
yeah, there we go. Because maybe Steve's getting all these guys out there. He trains these guys, and then they're the Trojan horse. They go work for these other teams, and then make some nice back alley deals for your Red Wings.
We got to jump into the comments here too.
Yeah.
Griffin thrown out there. Let's not ignore the fact that because Zadina fell over and touched the puck, it's now a 3-game point streak for Philip Zadina right now.
I call that a Holmstrom special.
No, and my tweet was crash the net and good things happen. That's exactly what Zadina did, and he made space so that Rask could put it in. That's the whole idea. That's why he did it. It's clearly not why we drafted him. We didn't draft him to come in and crash the net. But he's a smart hockey player, and that's exactly what needed to happen on that play. So I'm teasing Zadina. We're glad for him. His trade value is way up now. So glad Greg pointed that out. Trade value through the roof.
Oh my God! Oh, we almost got number 2.
I love these hybrid recordings where not only
listen. There's high danger scoring chances, right? There's just regular scoring opportunities, but Rasmussen was in position to get number 2. No. Okay.
Oh, did you see Zadina almost backhand one in as he was falling over?
Yeah, I saw him fall over again. Yeah.
So this is kind of the fun way to sum this up. Not only are we trying to record an episode with actual topics, we're trying to watch this game. We're also at different points of the game because I'm watching Xfinity recorded. I watch it recorded because if I want to steal a replay and throw it up on Twitter, I can't go back in time on the live episode. So I got to do the recorded one. And I think it puts me behind Mike, especially with us talking about have you seen the Zadina thing yet?
I have the Xfinity stream, which is behind the regular Xfinity broadcast. Usually our dad will tell us a goal went in, then I'll celebrate it, and then Matt will make a video of it a half hour later.
And all right, we'll count down to 3, 2, 1, and we'll say how much time is left in the power play, and then we'll know how far apart we are. All right, so I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, and then you just shout out, a minute and whatever.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Minute 36.
It's 2-0.
What? Oh man.
Okay, we got to play again because we didn't really score.
Oh, that. If it did happen though, that would have been good podcasting.
All right.
Well, yeah. Do I even cue it up now? Was it even fun, listeners?
Yeah.
Was that fun? No.
I'm at a minute right now.
All right, minute 8. So that was.
It's not too bad. Yeah.
Performance art. He thought you got me pretty good. I think the sadness on my face. I'm gonna have to do that TikTok. Oh no!
What, the 2-0?
Yeah, I wanted to play my little game, and then I thought it was 2-0, and then it was taken away from me. Performance art also dogging Zadina there. Pretty sure Zadina didn't even touch the puck, but hey, I'm happy. Yeah,
We're giving out assists like hotcakes over here. If Zadina really gets a point for that, come on.
No. You know what?
That might as well
play,
be unassisted by Rasmussen.
No. That is asinine and ridiculous. That play does not happen without Zadina. You guys, and I was teasing Zadina before, but you
know
take
what?
that back.
If that boosts his J Fresh hockey card, I'm out. I'm not listening to that bullshit ever again because he didn't do anything on that play.
Mike, are you trying to transition into our real topic of the show?
Hey, no. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll just take credit for it.
Aww. So they're showing the lineup of execs for the Red Wings, and Pat Verbeek is clearly sitting on the end all by himself, like with a little extra space between him and the rest of the team. As the Pierre LeBrun announcement comes in, there had to be at least a 1 foot extra buffer between the boys up there. It is pretty cute though that Lidstrom and Yzerman now sit next to each other every game, as if So I got my new job back in November, right? And I have people that every day, like I'm doing some sort of shadowing or learning something new about a new area of the business. But what's Steve telling Nick right now? This is a power play coming up. So we'll have an extra skater on the ice. You'll notice we won't score. You know what I mean? That's what it looks like. Like he's shadowing to learn a little bit more, but game time, maybe in the middle of the day, if there's, this is, I use Cap Friendly to see where our salary cap's at. I don't trust our own boys. So, go to capfriendly.com is how I do all my big transactions.
I want to put it to the people. What is Yzerman teaching Lidstrom right now?
It's a wonderful question.
What is he teaching Nicholas motherfucking Lidstrom?
And there goes
right now.
There goes our clean grade for the episode.
Oh,
it was worth it.
It was worth it. There's one bomb. What is he teaching him? That's what I'd like to know.
Well, we know one of the things that Nick's excited about is Mo Seider, but
I have one idea.
Yeah.
The only idea I have is that he's maybe teaching Lidstrom. We're going in the way back machine for this one, but we just laid a Paul Newman, and some of you guys might only know him from selling ranch dressing. We just pulled a Paul Newman sting on Pat Verbeek because we're going to get Lindholm.
Oh, you think Pat is being inserted to make sure he informs the team not to re-up Lindholm?
Don't re-sign him. He stinks. That's Pat, all I can think.
We've made so many moves to make sure we can afford him. Nah, he stinks. It's too late. Just
we're not even interested. We're not even going to be in the room for putting an offer.
Wait, he doesn't even need to say that. He's the GM. It's just not happening. He doesn't need to tell anybody. He just needs to tell Hampus. Nah, also, you stink. First meeting with the team.
Just gonna be cutting him down.
I do think, Mike, we got a great question in the chat here. I think you're gonna like this one. So we were talking about Nick. Of course, Pat Verbeek was playing time with the Wing Dingies. Steve leading the way. We know Drapes is up there too.
Yeah.
Chris C wants to know. Mike, would friend of the show, Darren McCarty, ever have an opportunity to rejoin the organization? Mike, do you want to give your hot take on that one? Do you know if there's a Zamboni driver opening that Darren could fill in for?
Man, I wouldn't hire him to sell hot and readies. He's the most aloof, confrontational a-hole we've ever had on this show as a guest. No. I would not give him any kind of responsibility. No.
He is in almost everything he does, too. I don't know if you've watched him on Woodward Sports Network or speaking in between periods with Art
I have
Regner.
never felt pity for Art Regner until I saw him and McCarty sitting across from each other on the same side of an argument, and McCarty was still in his face.
And oh no, Kopitar just ran Nedeljkovic. Came in hot. Great save by Nedeljkovic. Stood his ground.
Yeah,
but he's up slow. I don't know. Now he's looking around, maybe trying to get a call. That's pretty smart.
I went to break already.
Oh, okay.
I already got JB smooth.
That looks fine. I'd take that back. Anyway,
but Matt, let me ask you.
Yeah.
You've seen McCarty in other interviews, so it's not just our show that it was a train wreck, or Art Regner where it was a train wreck.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're at okay. Yeah, I thought you were gonna say so. You've seen him in these other shows, and I thought there was another question coming. But yeah, I mean, on the Woodward Sports Network, and he has his own show. I think that's his element, Mike. Like, that's basically sports talk radio. It tries to be, at least. So that's a good spot for Darren McCarty. I think he'd probably agree too. I don't know what his specialty would be, and besides like just getting in an argument with everybody else. As you put it. So
I think that Yzerman is a little smarter than that. That's why he brings in, smart guys like Lidstrom, where we all kind of have a consensus. Yeah. Makes sense. Draper.
There's a big difference,
Draper,
right?
You know what? We give him, in our house, we used to tease him because he, didn't score a lot of goals, but he's still a smart guy. You bring him in, for Beek, smart guy. And they're already starting to pillage Yzerman's handpicked smart guys. So, yeah. And performance art, God bless you. I love you. Dropping the comment. Loved him as a player. So did we. Can't stand him as a TV personality. Exactly.
All right. Logan's on the other side, Mike.
No, Logan. No.
Darren McCarty.
Don't do it, Logan.
No, Logan. Bad, Logan. Bad.
We're going to send you the clip of that episode because it was horrible.
Guys, I don't know if Chris is a long time listener and a big fan.
Or a McCarty burner account.
We didn't have fun on having Darren on the show, so
nope.
we'll put it like that. Chewy throwing it in there, Mike. We used to tease him when we were younger. I think a lot of that was led because we didn't know better. Because Drapes actually does score out as like one of the best, like 3Cs of all time. But Chewy throw it in there. Don't forget, best $1 the Wings ever spent. Now, my hungry fat ass read this message from Chewy, and all I saw was $1 Wings, and it took me a minute, Chewy, to even bring this up because I was trying to figure out where I get those. So I'm doing bad, Mike. Ever since I think I've gained. What am I at now?
How many buckets of wings have you gained? 45 buckets of wings?
I've gained 45 pounds of only wings. So there's other food in my fat ass right now. I've gained 45 pounds since my second child came along. So this is
well, I do want to hit our next topic. And yes, I've put on some COVID pounds too. But somebody sent me a thing that was like, name a thing that's been normalized that shouldn't be. And it was that when we go out for chicken wings, it's usually only half the wing.
I think that was an Instagram post.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But I didn't really think if you get like an actual chicken wing, there's like a wing that a bird has. So you can see where it used to flap and connect it to the torso. And we just get half of that now.
It's a crooked game. All right. So our other show topics for everybody, I want you guys to throw in the chat who you're thinking. Maybe we could just take a quick poll. If you guys are listening to the podcast, of course, you can't be a part of it, but please, if you're listening to the YouTube broadcast later on, give us your thoughts. But what we wanted to do, Mike, was just pick our MVPs of the first half of the season. And, you know, I had it all set up to like cleanly transition from our last show topic into Mo Seider. But we got fresh player cards today, Mike. So we've got Mo Seider. We've got Tuzi lined up. We've got Larkin lined up, Nedeljkovic. So I basically handpicked who we're going to go through. We've got a multiple choice test coming up. And
before we pick one of those 4 guys,
yeah.
I'm also going to ask the people, is there anybody else who you would even, consider to be in the top 4, like the Mount Rushmore of the 2022 Red Wings? I don't think there is.
I tried to bring up some other folks like on Jay Fresh's player cards. There's a reason, Mike, and we'll go over that later, why Lucas Raymond isn't being considered. He's pretty far down when it comes to having an even playing, or I'm sorry, a nice even two-way game. So Lucas didn't make the cut, but I think the 4 guys we're going to talk about, they are really tearing and clawing like the surface of these graphs, and it's really just, if you want to talk about off the charts sort of performances this year, of course it's going to be really hard to ever compete with like the likes of Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, but we're actually going to show you the fact that Bertuzzi and Larkin are actually challenging that. So we'll talk about it. Let's work through this, right? Do you want to just run through these cards real quick, Mike, or do you want to give some time to each player before we move on?
I would say we run through the cards, then we can kind of come back.
All right. So Mo Seider, rookie, right? I mean, a 94% projected WAR. That means there's only another 6% of the league that, as defensemen go, would be rated higher. It's incredible. I mean, we already just talked about how happy we are that nationally Mo's getting the recognition. So I don't think it's any secret how we feel about Mo. I think the more time that goes on, we're just going to be begging for more recognition. We're just going to want to see those Norris trophies come rolling in. And that's the long and short of it. We know this cat is amazing. He carries the puck through center ice like no defenseman I've seen since we were rolling through and bringing in cups every 4 years, 6 years, whatever. I don't know, whatever the number would be there. Of course, talking about Lidstrom there. So it's just one of those things where, you could talk about carrying the puck through the zone or passing it, but this is just something that we've been lacking, and he does it so well and smoothly and gets so many different plays set up. And you're trying to figure out like what has been going on with this team, to get the likes of Larkin in position where he's at. Does that even happen if Mo Seider isn't carrying the puck in the zone as often as he is? And not even carrying the puck, but just helping transition the puck out of the defensive zone and getting the puck into the offensive zone. That was a struggle. And now we can do it. And now Dylan Larkin's putting pucks in the back of the net. Yeah. So long and short of it. Oh, wait, you said to run through these cards. I did the opposite.
Well, I mean, we're already here. We're already here, right? Seider, you can look at all the regular, we'll call them coloring book analytics, which is my speed. You can look at the deep cut analytics, more Matt's speed. You can use the eyeball test. That's pretty much everybody's speed. If you just turn on a game and say, wow, who's that big guy who's making all the smart heady plays for an entire third of the game? Because he's already playing 20 minutes a game. Right. It's not one of those situations where a team is so bad that they just throw caution to the wind and let their youngest players just, get out there, kid, and get some experience, get some growing pains. He's a guy who's out there. He's earned it because he's that dependable. And it's kind of scary, but this 20-year-old kid's already are easily our best defenseman by miles. And you kind of shudder to think where the Red Wings win-loss record would be without him. But it's a difference where it's a team that was historically bad and then pretty bad, and now even with a pretty barren roster, Basically the addition of two human beings, Lucas Raymond to a lesser extent, but mostly Mo Seider. You can win half your games, and this is you could almost get rid of 5 of the other top 6 defensemen on this team. Like they're that kind of interchangeable, unless you want to make an argument for Hronik, the suddenly white hot Oesterle, or Lindstrom on the penalty kill. I'll listen to those arguments, but for this guy to come in and be this good, Matt, I think you really got to think about how good 94% WAR is. So out of about 30 teams, they each have their top 6. That means there's maybe 11 or 12 defensemen better than him. Maybe in the whole league. So out of 30-ish teams, he'd be their best defenseman. And then there's 11 teams where they have mega ultimate stars, and he's just clipping, chomping at their heels.
Well,
Here's a Seider on Zegras.
Oh, that warms my heart.
Isn't that such a great highlight? So Zegras coming in for everybody on the podcast. Mo pushes him to the outside, and Z's going to make a move to cut back inside around Seider. But watch Seider here on the back end. Boom. Just out of the way. Just gone. So that is such a beautiful thing to watch, because you're watching two guys, that are going to be affecting this league for many years to come. And to just see this great play of Zegras, probably running into anybody else on this Red Wings defense. He gets around, he'll get an opportunity to make a play on Ned. But comes to Seider, the awareness of where to put your stick, the awareness of what would Zegras be doing right now? You know what I mean? Like, he made that play to go back inside, but Mo already knows exactly where the puck is, and he makes that perfect play to get it away from Zegras and cut the play back out of the zone. It's Chewy's thrown it out there. Moving puck out of the zone has been the greatest highlight of Mo. Was that it? Oh, yeah. Sam threw out there that goals per 60, though. 0% for Seider. But just keep in mind, it still ranks at the top of the league, like Mo's complete game, because defensemen aren't really putting pucks in the back of the net. So I'll let that one go. All right, Mike. Next on my list, of course, Dylan Larkin. So what I need y'all to do watching on YouTube, Mike, do you see the WAR percentile rank table on the right side, top right corner?
Yes,
that little dot trying to show where Dylan Larkin ranks and wins above replacement percentage is almost through the graph. Dylan Larkin is beyond the 99%.
Yes.
Dylan Larkin is having a hell of a year. It's something where, the word leadership keeps getting thrown in there because of when he's producing, but it's also just this nonstop motor. And of course, they highlighted I think at the beginning of the game for Dylan, just how well he's doing and producing, to have a career year. I think he's on pace for 40 goals and 81 points, which of course he won't finish the season with 82 games. So he'll be over that point per game total. Looks like the Kings are about to tie it. Thanks, Max Boltman, for telling me before it even goes in the net. There it is. So all those things wrapped in for Dylan. You're bringing in that idea of leadership. You're bringing in the timeliness of his goals. You're bringing in just sheer production. All that wrapped together. Let's talk about when Lucas Raymond got that goal a couple weeks ago and slammed head first into the boards. And we were talking about the replay, not Lucas scoring, but afterwards, Dylan Larkin coming up, picking up Lucas and saying, "You all right?" And Lucas going, yeah, I'm fine. And Larkin multiple times is stopping the celebration and asking Lucas, "You all right?" "Yeah, I'm fine." "No, are you all right?" And then it's finally like, let's not worry about the stupid goal. You're a kid. You just slammed head first into the boards. Let's figure that out. It's fine. That right there, I think, is what we talked about. Almost God, what would you call that? I mean, jokingly, we were like, well, who's going to be the Matthew Stafford of the Detroit Red Wings? And I threw out there that, you'd have to have Dylan Larkin leave, and there'd have to be some, fan frustration that would have to be pent up or build up over time here. But I just stuff like that. I can't really see that ever happening. Like Dylan leaving would be the equivalent to Justin Verlander going to the Astros and winning a title. Like that's more along the line, because nobody hated Justin. Justin was our MVP and our Cy Young winner. So I don't mean to turn this conversation to getting rid of Dylan Larkin. I'm just saying we love him and he plays so well. Like that would be the heartbreaking end to it. But yeah, I don't know where else. What if I took all the points away?
No, I would just say that that 86, it is projected WAR based on
three seasons,
past historical data. So I think that 86 is just being conservative because of that 2021 season when he was injured, not at 100%. I'm not going to do it, man. I'm not going to mention Darren McCarty. Damn it!
He's healthy.
He's healthy. I don't know if that means that Larkin's necessarily that, almost 100% that we're seeing this year. But I think it's safe to say that, he's probably better than an 86. Healthy Larkin with capable line mates. My God, this is what you look for in a top line center. We've seen the emotional push that this guy brings to the rest of the team. If he's not out there, it's more than losing your best player, your fastest player, one of your better goal scorers. He's got a real voice, in the locker room. Definitely feels like, because if he's not out there, there's a definite void where he used to be, and it feels like the whole team's play kind of comes down. So yeah, he's such an integral part. So I think a pretty easy case potentially for him to be our MVP.
And quick shout out, or I just want to address this, not a shout out. I'll share it in the chat after the episode, performance art, when we interviewed McCarty and had.
It's weird because we want to promote it just to see how bad it is, but we also don't want it to get out because it was awful. Oh my God. Yeah. I think we're going to also share the Ken Cal episode so you can feel better about, everything that transpired.
Yeah, actually, we have a whole series that I don't know if that ever did get shared how it was supposed to, but we actually have a series we'll share at some point, maybe when we go on vacation or something this summer, of Ken Cal and I going over the dynasty in the 90s and the 2000s. Ken was so nice to give me about 3 or 4 hours of his time. It was an incredible conversation. We'll tease that out. We were supposed to put that out, I think, earlier this year, but then we actually ended up putting out real episodes. So you guys, maybe we'll bring Ken in again and we can do a couple part series and start talking about, the Yzer plan. But Mike, you were talking about the void that's left when Dylan Larkin's gone, but there's one guy that performed well while Dylan was gone. And if you take a look, Mike, at the 2021-22 WAR percentile rank from Jay Fresh, we have another one of our good boys breaking the graph. His dot doesn't even fit. Breaking through the 100%. So, of course, that puts Tyler, up somewhere in the 99 percentile for this season. Of course, we're not going to sniff McDavid and Draisaitl. I don't know why I keep saying that. We all know that. But Tuesday having a hell of a season. Mike, I mean, it's one of those things where you talk about a guy who is making me look dumb because he keeps putting in pucks with some pretty slick looking deeks. I had to be careful with that. I almost said sleek looking, but slick looking deeks. And, if it's not that, then he's crashing the net himself. And, he's got that lettuce in the back too. That's pretty fun. That he just looks like, an old time hockey player out there. And that's sort of, I would say he's a combination of old time and modern hockey that's really made him like the perfect element on this team to bounce between two different lines and find success. Where you look at Dylan Larkin, I would say, he's not necessarily bouncing between lines, but his line mates have changed. So it's clearly, they've both been successful doing the same thing, but arguably Tuesday had the tougher task of the two of trying to get Suter and Robbie Fabry back into a relevant conversation. And now we look at this team, and I think we were all in agreement that when that move was made by Mike, our friend, Mr. Jeff Blashill, he pretty much increased the chances of us, being able to score, I guess from a minutes per game basis, because now we have two legitimate scoring threats in that first and second line. And you got to give a lot of the credit to Tuzi. So with that, I think the leadership nod goes to Dylan for timeliness, the timing on his production. But Bertuzzi has just been producing all season. We've teased him that, at some point it was going to stop. And there's been lulls, but not real lulls. Like, and it just kicks up again, and he has a 4-point game. But then, then you also talk about the fact that he's been playing with tougher line mates to play with. And, we could draw up right now on JFresh. Robbie Fabry is one of the lowest rated forwards in regards to defensive performance, even strength defense. So that's something when Bertuzzi's out there playing with Fabry, it has to be taken into account. So all those things wrapped together, Tuzi's still producing. So MVP candidate, absolutely.
Matt, we talked about it the past couple seasons. This team is so bad at scoring. They've been at the very bottom, whether it's even strength or, even with the man advantage. One of the worst power plays, one of the worst even strength scoring teams there is. And a big reason for that, I think, at least contributing, Bertuzzi being, not 100% playing the majority of the games. So obviously Mo Seider does a great job getting the play out of our end, getting it to a point where we can start scoring goals. Larkin, incredible leadership, incredible, engine, like you said. But I feel like the Red Wings, they have exactly one player who offensively can take the entire team on his back and make it look like we have a formidable offense for at least his shifts, and that's Tyler Bertuzzi. We don't have any other players like that. It's kind of scary. If you look at the pipeline, I don't think we have any other prospects that are, at that Bertuzzi level to, kind of have every facet of scoring that I think you would want. And he's playing with such a high level of confidence. He looks, and this isn't a knock against him. He just looks better than he probably actually is. It's just, this is a season where everything's going right for him. And it's potentially a reason, because we have so much trouble scoring. Knowing that he's on the ice, it feels like there's a chance.
And I was listening to Max Boltman did a little live feed earlier today. We got the first request for a Bertuzzi trade because his contract's going to be a little bit of trouble. So not something that I agree with. I think at some point you got to keep some of these guys. But the fact that conversation started is a whole nother thing. Mike, we have one more candidate. He's having a hell of a game so far. 31 shots on net, 1 goal allowed. Mike, it's Nedeljkovic. Now we've cheated a little bit here because you can look at that same WAR per 60 percentile rank for Nedeljkovic. Had a fantastic season last year with Carolina. He's taken quite a dip according to JFresh's numbers this year, but we know this is an eyeball test thing for us. Maybe the expected or the goals saved above expected aren't as great as it was last year. But I mean, Mike, this is a guy that's got multiple save of the year candidates like across the NHL. We have games like this where this would just be so out of hand if Nedeljkovic wasn't in net. It's 32 shots on net to our 13, and it's still a 1-1 game because of Nedeljkovic. So you want to talk about the narrative, you want to talk about the statistics. He's got them both. It's one of those things where probably due to the fact that he's an older Calder candidate, he's not going to win that. But you want to talk about an MVP in the first half of the Red Wings season, you'd be ridiculous not to throw out Nedeljkovic as a candidate. Mike?
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, boogers. 2-1.
What? No.
I take it back. He's off. Nope. He let that one in. He squeaked in past him. He's off the board. You can't pick Nedeljkovic. I'm just kidding.
The goal scoring, the leadership, the defense, they all kind of become moot points if you don't have a guy, especially on this team with no depth, who can, get between the pipes. and get ready to be peppered with shots. Almost
God, he almost saved that. Good.
like a bird shot from a shotgun. He's just constant. This is another good example where we're getting wildly outperformed by the Kings, and the only reason we're still kind of in this game is Nedeljkovic. We've seen the Red Wings deep cut analytics. We're definitely, you see us ranked 26th out of the 30, 28th, 29th, but somehow, Matt, in the face of modern hockey analysis, the Red Wings were still a 500 team, still a competitive team. And if you play them in Detroit, my God, you will probably lose. That's the truth. And Matt, we know that this team does not have a lot of good players, but we do have one especially good player. And Matt, it's one of the swindles of Yzerman's career. It's getting Nedeljkovic. So Matt, if you were going to ask who my MVP is, I'm giving it to Ned because I just the other Larkin, incredibly important. I was at a game. I was at the first game. You were with me when he got kicked out for I think he did was it a back arm punch or he punched somebody in the back of the head and got ejected.
Yeah.
The whole team deflated and we lost.
So you're mad at Larkin for doing that, man? Mike, you gotta let go of some of that stuff. I can't believe that you're ragging on Larkin for throwing a punch. You're saying it's all Larkin's fault we lost, and that's why you're picking Nedeljkovic. Unbelievable. All right, my turn.
It's the first line of defense, and he's our only line of defense if Seider's not out there. Seemingly, it feels like
that's actually a great point.
So it's 20 minutes of every game. There's a legitimate NHL defenseman. For the rest of it, it's just Nedeljkovic by himself. So Matt, give Ned the MVP.
I'm glad you picked Ned, Mike.
I like stealing your thunder, but go ahead.
Because I'm going with Dylan. I got to come back to the fact that his job this year, while Bertuzzi's job has been to help the likes of Fabry and Suter produce, Larkin's job has been to take care of our good boys, Lucas Raymond and Mo Seider. And he's been Chewy put it earlier that it's like a brotherly, how did he put it? Looking out for little bro. He's the big bro. I say it's Papa Larks hanging out and taking care of baby Ray and baby Mo. Papa Larks is doing a great job. And, it's those games like the 2-1 victory where Larks is putting in an amazing goal to give us, or I guess, send us into overtime. And it wasn't necessarily a game tying goal, but it was the 1-1 goal. And, lining up Oesterle for the win. It's those kind of performances. To me, that set him apart. And then, I've got the analytics here too, Mike. I can just point to this little graph again and just say, see, Larkin's 100%, Mike. And then you look at Ned and he's all the way down there. So clearly Larkin brings more wins above his replacement players than Nedeljkovic does. So I let Jay Fresh do all my arguing for me. But, narrative wise, I think you could say both of these guys have done a lot to bring the wins this year. But for me, it means so much to see what Larkin's doing as a captain and really coming into his own. So I'm picking Larkin. Performance art. Also going Larks. Sam, he's not worried about Mo. He's incredible all over the ice. Is that because we were teasing you about saying the goal percentage? Anyways. So I'm going to say Sam just picked Mo. That's just so we have a different answer up there. But yeah, I think the best part about this is that there's actually a conversation this year, and these are all young players. You've got Ned at 25. For goalies, it takes forever to develop. So it's not the youngest cat in the world, but for goaltender, it's pretty young. You get a lot of good years out of that, and we've got him inked 2 years at $3 million. And you think about how many wins he's bringing to the game. 26-year-old Tyler, who's got 2 years left on $4.8 million, and a guy like Dom Luszczyszyn says he should be getting paid $10 million a year, so quite a steal there. And then Dylan Larkin, 25. Oh, and who am I forgetting? Effing Mo, 20. All youngsters. we're doing good. Those are all of our MVPs. It feels good. We're not in that, that zone where we're looking at guys that perform well this year and they're like 36 and they've got, 2 years left on their deals, and we got to worry about that in the future. This is all gravy. All gravy. Mike, we just wrapped up the second. 2-1 LA.
Damn.
Who's your MVP? Nedeljkovic so far? Or is it Zadina when he crashed the net?
Matt, it should be 31-1 at this point. And luckily, Nedeljkovic is making it a real hockey game. So, Matt, still give it to Ned.
All right, we've got a couple of topics left. One, I'm gonna make you guys mad for a minute here. Called a race. Lucas Raymond, Mike, just to bring up these J Fresh cards. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this. Offensively, Lucas Raymond, the better player. Looking at these, what the performance is, what these guys are bringing to the ice, and what they're limiting, of course, from like attempts and chances going against them. Seider's having the better season. Right now, Lucas Raymond a 59% WAR percentage, and Zegras is a 61%. Kind of a bummer there. We've been making the argument all season that Lucas Raymond had more points and he was a better two-way player, but not according to the deep cut analytics, Mike, as you like to put it. So maybe more fun here. We got one topic left before we bid you all. Mike.
Adieu. That was a Kenny Omega reference.
Yes. Because he doesn't know how to pronounce adieu.
Yeah.
Another little ditty here from the Max Boltman live recording on the Athletic app there. It's actually a pretty cool little thing he does there. He kind of just, it's a push notification, says Max Boltman is live, and then you can just sit there and chat with Max. But somebody brought up, what are we doing when Jakub Vrana comes back? Mike, Max said, easy go-to, you move Nedeljkovic, Vrana gets slotted in there. Number 2, you're just going to move Fabry, put Vrana at 2. Mike, the third option Max came up with, Zadina, nameless center, could be Veleno, could be Rasmussen, could be Gagne. Zadina, center, and Vrana on the third line gives the Red Wings 3 scoring lines based on the fact that Vrana could put him in last year with playing with anybody.
I mean, that's a cute idea. But part of the reason that we acquired the guy is he didn't want to be a third liner anymore. It's like, no, I'm really good at this. You should let me be on the first or second line. And then the Red Wings like, yeah, we'll do it. And he performed. So I don't put anything in. That doesn't make any sense to me. I think what Max is trying to get at is, we're going to spread the wealth a little bit, but you still want to have your good players play most of the game. That's why, Mo Seider plays 23 minutes. And our beloved, Mark Stahl only plays 10. You don't want to have Vrana in a spot where he's mad again, like he was with the Capitals. You want to give him first or second line minutes. So I get the idea of spreading the wealth, but I don't think Vrana is the sacrificial lamb for that idea. As soon as he's back, he's first or second line material. You knock everybody down a peg. And then that's when we start really filling out this team, because then we'll have these lines set up, and then these ones, we'll have like a real top 6 and a bottom 6 instead of a top 3 and more of a bottom 9. So it'll really start to work out. So I respectfully disagree.
Yeah, and I don't think the Red Wings are in a place where the way that this team is built that we're looking to you know what, that's another thing I wanted to ask you too, is it did kind of feel like we're still playing this game of what can we do to hopefully get Zadina scoring more consistently, where again, all right, so he's got 3 points now in 3 games. right now, but we know over the whole season it's been a struggle. And I'm not making the argument to get rid of Zadina, but that is kind of what that felt like to me. Was just kind of forcing more of those situations. But you made the best point. Vrana wanted a better situation, and that puts him in the same exact situation that he was in Washington, while also not contending for a Stanley Cup. So, how much longer do we get a happy Vrana on the ice? Because when we made him our star last year for 13 games, he turned into a star. So I think you got to treat him like a star. You got to give him first line minutes. You got to give him all the minutes in the world. And I bet, maybe there's the whole Czech connection there. And if you ask Vrana, maybe he has to say Zadina. But there's no way he's looking at this team and not licking his chops, thinking of playing with Lucas and Dylan on the first line. I don't know. Mike, you made the best point. I give it to you, but that's where I was thinking for different reasons. But you knocked it out of the goddamn park with that one. Performance art, throw it out there. He's our purest goal scorer. He absolutely is.
There's
and
no reason to give him third line minutes. It's ridiculous.
Whoever he plays with, absolutely, he's probably going to be able to put him in the back of the net. But I do think too there's this element of like, well, let's let him play with Zadina. We'll see if Zadina can get back on the scoring, get more consistent scoring from Zadina. But why don't we see what would happen with this first line if it was just an absolute beast with Larkin, Vrana, and Lucas, and keep rolling with that second line that has some chemistry of these guys playing in the juniors together. I don't know if I need to force anything to make sure we have some scoring on the third line, the line that's going to get the third most minutes on this team, just by definition, when we could just keep rolling on the first line and giving them more minutes, giving them more opportunities, and seeing how that makes the difference. All right. Mike, I think that's all I had. Oh, I had one more ditty, Mike. What do you think about this? Somebody was saying, Moritz Seider's playing great now. How great is he going to play when he has an actual defensive partner or, a real defensive pairing partner? Brought in the idea, Mike, like when we see some of these, like in the NFL, we have teams that do the same thing year after year. Mm-hmm. And, then like a Sean McVay comes in and tries to like redo how offense works. And, now he's got Stafford and he's going to the Super Bowl, but he made that team work even without Stafford, that offense. Mike, why don't we do something different? What is up with this? We need to have let's just Seider's the man already dragging around the corpse of DeKaiser. Let's lean into it, Mike. 4 forwards and a Seider. Let's do something completely different. We run every time Seider's out there, we're gonna run it. Have 4 forwards shooting to the net and have Seider just backing us up and playing quarterback.
Is that what we're doing with Oesterle?
What do you mean?
If we put him with Seider, I mean, because he, played a game or two at wing. Is that what they're attempting with that maneuver?
I wouldn't say that, but
well, I know you're trying to have a fun topic, but I don't know where you're going with this, Matt. You madman. No, we need defensemen out there. We can't.
Let's wrap it up the show. I thought it would be fun to just toss that out there. All right, so maybe not fun. We take this seriously. This is Red Wings hockey. We can't mess around with how hockey's supposed to work, Mike. Hockey's hockey. All right.
I'm going 5 defensemen because 1 is not helping.
Wouldn't that be fun though? Okay, whatever. Nobody wants to play this game with me. Anyways, wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Don't forget, we've got our hashtag Save Us Verona t-shirts at bodpodcast.com, brothersofdiscussion.com. Just hit the shop page or shop button. Head on over to at BOD Hockey. I tried to switch us today to at Red Wings Rant, but somebody has that Twitter handle and they have 1 follower. So,
they're huge.
Thanks, dude.
It was me.
We're still at BOD Hockey for the time being. what else do we have? Oh yeah, go subscribe and review. Apple Podcasts, Spotify you could review now, so we'd really appreciate that if you guys have the time. And yeah, I guess everybody's checking out the Darren McCarty episode, so you guys go do yourself a favor.
Don't forget to look up the Ken Cal one too. Look up the good one.
Threw it in the chat. Episode 38, season 2. Darren McCarty was the guest. You can hear Mike and I humor him and him not listen to anything we're saying. It's fun. Anyways, wrap it up. Yes, I don't think it was, because then the next time I emailed his representative, they never got back with me. Yeah, let's wrap up. Right?
Let's wrap it up.
Off into the sunset. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah.
Let's cross our fingers on this third period here that we don't get absolutely launched on the shot chart. All right. Toodaloo, everyone.
Toodaloo.